All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how the body works, how it functions, and why it does what it does. Okay. So before I really get into how the body develops, I want to ask you a very simple question, because everybody always wants to know, what are the things that I can do in order to be healthier? Okay. This is a very simple question. What are the things that you can do in order to be healthy? So I need a little class participation. I want to hear from you guys. If I was to ask you, what are the things that you can do in order to be healthier? So what do you think they are?
Drink water.
Okay, I heard exercise.
Get more sleep.
Drink water. Eat your vegetables.
Hang on. I heard more sleep. I heard drink water.
Less stress.
Decrease stress. What else?
Eat healthy.
Okay, proper nutrition. Okay, anything else? Smile. You know what? It's a good one, and very few people mention that one. I'm gonna lump it into this category called attitude. Okay? Because attitude is everything when it comes to your health. It's absolutely everything. Having the right. There are people that like being sick because they like to talk about it and they like to moan about it. Okay? And those people are tough. So having the right attitude makes all the difference in the world in order to be healthy. So smiling, you mentioned smiling, and that's exactly it. So that list right there is a really good list, and that is the typical list. In fact, it's the exact list that I always get when I ask this question. The only one that we're missing is what? Where are you right now?
Get adjusted.
A chiropractic adjustment.
So get adjusted. So I'm going to put chiropractic on the list. Okay? My job in the next few minutes is going to be to help you understand, not to convince you, but to help you understand why this one right here, if you do not do this one right here, you are basically ignoring all the other ones. Why this one is the most important. And I'm not saying that because I'm a chiropractor. I'm saying that because chiropractic is the maintenance and the control of your nervous system. It is the health of your nervous system. Do you understand that your nervous system, in order for all of these to work, in order for you to sleep better at night and for water to be processed through your kidneys, for exercise to work and all your muscles and joints to work, for the right amount of hormones to be released, etc., for your body to process food that you put into it, all of these things are controlled and coordinated by your central nervous system. All of them are controlled by this, okay? That's just the pure and simple truth, okay? So that's my job, to explain. You might be saying to yourself, well, tell me more, because I don't get it. I don't understand why this chiropractic thing would really have anything to do with how well I sleep at night. So that's my job and that's my duty, and now I'm going to explain it. And it all starts with what Mr. Tanner over there said. I'd really like to learn a little bit more about the birds and the bees. So would you please explain the birds and the bees to me, right, Tanner? Yeah. All right, so we've got, this is how it all starts, you guys. 2 cells, a sperm and an egg, okay? They come together and they create 1 cell, and then something interesting happens. So a lot of people would say, well, at that point it's cell division, right? That 1 cell then becomes 2. It divides and becomes 2. No, it doesn't divide, it replicates. Okay, there's a difference. That cell becomes 2 cells. It replicates itself. 2 cells become 4, 4 cells become 8, and 16, and 32, and 64, and 128, and 256. Eventually you get this big giant ball of cells, right? And eventually the very first organ in the body to forms. What organ is that?
Could be the brain.
The brain, okay? Sometimes people say the heart because it's that important, but no, the brain. Why the brain? Well, the brain has to form first, because then the brain is going to coordinate the development of the entire rest of the human body. The brain is going to do that, okay? Now, we've got this big ball of cells, this brain is now formed, and then something cool happens. This little thing comes out of the brain and it grows out like have you ever seen the time-lapse photography of like a tadpole becoming a frog, or something like that? They can do the time-lapse. They've done time-lapse photography on this, and it grows right out of the brain like a tail. And that is the spinal cord. The spinal cord is actually white matter and gray matter, the exact same thing as your brain. A lot of people don't think about it this way, but you literally have brain tissue in your back. Okay? Your back is smart. Okay? So now you've got your brain and you've got this spinal cord, and then you get these little guys that come out of here. Looks like linguini. And those are the spinal nerve roots. Now I just drew 3 on each side. You actually have 24 of them. But then you get this little bud. And that little bud on the ends of these nerves is called the visceral bud. Why is it called visceral bud? Because a viscera is an organ. And so what happens is all of a sudden you get an organ. You get a lung, you get a pancreas, you get a liver. The only one I know how to draw. The heart, okay? You get a kidney. So you get organs that literally blossom on the ends of these nerves. This is pretty cool. This is all happening, it's all coordinated by the intelligence that is put inside, that started from a sperm and an egg. There's an intelligence inside of those cells, and it just gets coordinated. You don't have to think about it. This human being doesn't have to think about how all this formation happens. It just does, because that's how God designed it. And it just works, okay? So now you've got all these organs that blossom on the ends of these nerves. Now we have a way for the brain to communicate to each of the organs, okay? So let's talk about the heart, because the heart is one that we can all kind of relate to. If a bear is chasing you, I just watched a TikTok video yesterday where a bear chased a guy up a tree, okay? If a bear is chasing you, you need more oxygen to your legs to run. And so your brain says, we need more oxygen to our legs. I need my heart to beat faster, to pump more blood past the lungs in order to get more oxygen to our legs. And so your communication system is now complete with this pathway, and it communicates with all the organs, okay? So whether it be your liver processing some junk that came into your body, or your kidneys because you have more water coming through your system or whatever, everything is being coordinated by the brain through the spinal cord, out these spinal nerve roots, out to the different organs. Now, your body does something pretty cool at this point. It wants to protect this system. This is your central nervous system. And it wants to protect the system, so it actually creates bone to completely encapsulate the 2 most important parts of the human body, okay? Protect your brain, okay? And to protect your spinal cord. So there is literally a tube of bone that completely surrounds your brain, and a tube of bone that completely surrounds your spinal cord. However, that makes it extremely difficult to bend over and tie your shoes. So what your body does at that point is it breaks this into segments. Those segments then are called, anybody have the name of each segment? Vertebrae, okay? So each segment is vertebrae, and now your body has a way to bend and move, okay? But it leaves this cool little hole on the side open where the nerve exits to go to the organs, okay? That cool little hole between the vertebrae is called a intervertebral foramen, or an IVF. Intervertebral foramen means, in Latin, little hole between the vertebrae. It's genius. So that little hole then allows that nerve to come through there, okay? Now, let me ask you a question. If you had a tumor sitting here, pushing on the nerve that was going to your heart, And that tumor was pressing into the nerve. 10 millimeters of mercury pressure exerted downward onto that nerve decreases the function of that nerve by 50 to 60%. 10 millimeters of mercury pressure. If that tumor is causing that much pressure, it's going to really affect the ability of that heart to function. How much pressure is that? If you take a dime and put it on the back of your hand, that dime is exerting 10 millimeters of mercury pressure on the back of your hand. After about a minute, you don't even feel that dime. You forget that it's even there. That's how little amount of pressure it takes to decrease the function of this nerve, therefore the function of that organ. Okay? So, knowing that, I mean, how many people want their heart to function at only half? Like nobody, right? We want it to function at 100%. So how many people, if you knew you had a tumor, putting that pressure on that nerve would want that tumor removed? Raise your hands. Yeah, me too. I'd want that tumor gone. Now, what happens with these vertebrae? We are fun human beings. We like to water ski. We like to drive fast cars. We get in car accidents. We fall down the mountain, snow skiing. We slip on the ice and fall. We do all kinds of fun, crazy things in our life, including just sitting at a computer or maybe working on our phones. All kinds of things that cause vertebral subluxation. A vertebral subluxation is a misalignment, a shifting, an alteration in the perfect alignment, which puts pressure not here on the nerve, it puts the pressure right here at the IVF where the nerve is coming out, okay? The pressure is put here, and it's equal to that 10 millimeters of mercury pressure. So how many people, if you had that amount of pressure caused by a subluxation, an alignment problem affecting the nerve here, would want that vertebral subluxation removed? I think everybody would want it removed if they knew this information. Unfortunately, you don't always get pain, okay? Anybody ever had a pancreas ache? Gallbladder ache. The time that you will feel your gallbladder creating a problem is when it is dysfunctional and pathologic. When the damage is so bad that your gallbladder is destroying stuff. Then you'll know that you have a gallbladder problem. But you don't know it right away. And you don't know, because you don't have those kind of nerve fibers to your organs, okay? In fact, they can do they can do surgery and open somebody up. Brain surgery, they can doctors can stick their fingers into your brain and you cannot feel that because it's not made to feel, okay? It's not designed to feel. So sometimes when you have subluxation, vertebral alignment problems, you will not feel that subluxation until there's dysfunction. So that's why we encourage everybody to get checked. Get your spine checked, whether you feel bad or not, okay? We care how you feel, but we don't care how you feel. We want you checked regardless, because if there's a problem that we can catch before it becomes dysfunctional, we want to fix it. We want to correct it before it becomes dysfunctional, right? That's healthcare. That's preventive. That's actually doing a service. Waiting for something to explode and then trying to fix it is not healthcare. That's sick care. And we have plenty of people doing that. Every hospital on the planet. You don't walk in there asking for wellness care. People go there when they're bleeding out of their eyeballs or when something's exploding inside. People go there when there's a problem. If you say, I'm healthy, I just want to stay healthy, they look at you and they say, there's the mental ward that way because you must be crazy for being here. That's what they do, okay? So, this is an explanation of how the body forms. And it's all these different tissues that make it possible for all of these other ones to be effective, okay? You cannot have a good functioning digestive system if your nervous system is not working. So it doesn't really matter how good you eat if you're not taking care of your spine, if you're not working on the control system. That's what chiropractic is, okay? All right.